Aston Villa have claimed their first win for 6 weeks, beating Brentford 3-1 here at Villa Park. It feels good to get back to winning ways. Villa obviously now have the opportunity to make it back-to-back victories in the space of a few days as they play Southampton, who are bottom of the table, lost heavily against Chelsea today. They play them on Saturday. Big opportunity for Villa to potentially climb into the top 5. They are 7th as I record this now. It was really a comfortable win. I think there's always going to be some jitters when Villa concede that goal. When Damsgaard scored, knowing what happened here last season when Brentford scored 3 goals in the space of 10-15 minutes to turn the game on its head then. That wasn't the case today. Villa managed the ending of the match well. They were better in the first half, that's for sure, but I think Tyron Mings really did step up today. A player who hasn't obviously featured in the Premier League for Villa in 480 days since the opening weekend of last season. He was colossal in defence, winning headers, winning duels, more aerial duels than any other player for Villa. And I think we saw today what Villa had missed in Mings' absence. Emery was asked after the game about Torres and Mings, about how that dynamic could work moving forward, and Emery spoke again about how they can play together. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but Villa playing so many matches in space of it's a game every other it's a game every 3 days or so over this December period, especially as they play Southampton, then Leipzig, a bit of a break until they play Man City after Nottingham Forest. But it's going to be a long season. There's going to be injury, suspensions. A lot is going to come Villa's way, and it has a little bit so far this season, but it's really important that these players can grow in confidence now. We saw Ollie Watkins have one of his better games for a period of time now. Morgan Rogers scoring a fantastic goal to open the scoring for Villa. A really excellent effort, curling the ball into the top corner from the edge of the box. That came before he bounced the ball into Watkins' path for Villa's first real chance of the game. It was a kind of a tame finish by Watkins, but then he wins a penalty after Rogers put Villa in front. Dispatched the penalty. Wasn't the most convincing of spot kicks, granted, and I still think that kind of penalty debate will rage on about who is Villa's best taker of a penalty, but he scored. I think he has a very similar goal record to what he had this time last season after this amount of league matches, so he'll be targeting 20 goals again this season, of course. Villa, yes, they've been in poor form before tonight, but this needs to be a springboard to get back into in their groove, really, and build that momentum. I said previously that this period of the campaign is obviously the busiest, which means that you'll be punished if you're not playing with confidence and if you're not putting everything that you work on the training ground into practice in these games. And it's a good start, obviously, beating Brentford. They could have scored 5-6 goals tonight, Villa. They didn't really come under much pressure. Again, I think a lot of that comes down to Mings. He knows Conte's game very well. That looks like a very solid partnership, and I'm not for 1 minute thinking Torres is going to be displaced. But it will be interesting to see how that dynamic does work out, for sure. Matty Cash, again, I think was solid. Played very well against Juventus in the Champions League. Followed it up with another strong performance today, obviously getting his first goal since scoring against Burnley, twice against Burnley even, in that 3-1 win, 15 months ago. Luka Dean again, playing well. The double pivot of Kamara and Tielemans worked again, effective. And then on the wings, Bailey, I think, was looking confident, especially in the first half. Played well. I was a bit disappointed in one moment where he appeared to stop playing after being dispossessed in his own defensive third. That was a bit disappointing and was taken off not long after. And I think it's really important that he can channel his frustration. It's something that Emery spoke about as a collective. These players need to channel their frustrations of not winning in those 8 matches. And that's something that Bailey's going to have to learn. He hasn't scored yet this season, but they've played nearly 20 games in all competitions, I think. But I've said it before, I don't think you can leave him out of this team. I think he brings such a unique set of skills in this squad, and the function that he performs in the 11, in the structure that Villa play with, I think is so important. And even if he isn't playing to his full capacity, the way that he can drag defenders out and create space for his teammates, that's invaluable. And again, I think we saw that today playing on the counter-attack. He's one of the few players who really can stretch the game for Villa and play in those transitions, and we saw how much success they had. He actually came close to scoring himself, Bailey, just as Villa took the lead, and then obviously Watkins scored his penalty not long after. So all in all, a really encouraging night for Villa. The result for me was always going to be the most important aspect of today, and it feels, as I say earlier, great to finally get that after such a long time. I'm even more encouraged that Villa can now play against a team like Southampton, and you can't take anyone for granted in this league. Southampton played well against Chelsea for the first 15 minutes. I know that's not a particularly long time, but then they were the architects of their own downfall. Then they get a red card. But this is a side, to be fair, who played well against Brighton. Probably should have beat them. A Brighton side who were banging form. They could have got something against Liverpool as well, so Villa can't take them for granted, as I say. However, it's a fantastic opportunity for them to now get back-to-back wins and start to climb this Premier League table. Then they go to Leipzig, and attention will turn to the Champions League. That game is less than a week away, which kind of says everything about how Villa are going to have to manage their squad, manage the players' workload as well. This is why you have a big team. Jacob Ramsey will miss the next 2-3 weeks, Emery said. Onana is kind of a day-to-day situation, so we'll get an update on him on Friday, I believe, ahead of facing Southampton. As a side note, Ollie Watkins did walk down the tunnel after coming off. I asked Emery after the match, was there an injury there, as he saw, and he just said no, he was tired. There was no reason to worry on that, essentially. And he spoke about John Duran coming on. And to be fair, Duran, again, is a bit of a side note to what was a win. That was the most important thing. But Duran could have scored a few goals tonight, and that's not a criticism. He's getting in the right positions. He's causing problems. Brentford probably felt like they couldn't commit as many numbers as they wanted to going forward because they have Duran, down the other end, to say, looking likely that he was going to score. Didn't get his goal. He's now gone a few games without scoring, but no issue there. Emery was really happy about his contribution off the bench. So all in all, a really positive night, and Villa can grow in confidence. The players going into Bodymore tomorrow and Friday, they'll be bouncing, finally getting that win that they thoroughly deserved this evening. Could have been an even greater scoreline, as I say, but key thing is 3 points, and going into Southampton now going to have an opportunity to maybe break into that sort of top 5 picture. We'll see what happens on Thursday night with Tottenham and Brighton playing as well. But considering they've had such a dismal run of late, it's really encouraging that actually they didn't lose much ground at all on their rivals, considering how long they went without a win. So the positive is that they can now kind of reset. Well, they have hopefully reset tonight, and they can kick-start now and kind of monkeys off the back now. They've won the game after such a long time. Growing confidence. Hopefully, Southampton can be another occasion where Villa can get 3 points and climb the table once more.